Technology.
It's super fun. It's super fun.
Hey, my audio's working now.
Hey, imagine that.
Yeah. It wouldn't be an episode of Deadzone the podcast without technical difficulties.
I remember those.
Yeah. And with me today is a special guest. I suppose I skipped
I am not
introducing
that
myself.
special.
Yes, you are. So I'm one of the hosts, Bryan, and with me is
Rick.
Welcome to the Deadzone podcast. Deadzone is the sci-fi tabletop.
Woohoo!
Again, I did the whole thing because of the video, but you don't record the video.
I don't record the video.
Still,
I guess I technically do. I just don't release
you do. You
it
just
to
don't do anything
anybody.
with it.
Yeah. You know, the way it's supposed to be.
Well,
But yeah. Rick, how have you been?
I've been all right. A bit busy because, well, as you know, it's show season, or the
It
start of
is.
show season.
Yes. Yes, and we are probably going to be talking a lot about one show in particular today, not just Deadzone the podcast, but with Adepticon is pretty much around the corner for us.
It's like 3.5 weeks, man.
Yep, right around the corner.
Yeah.
And so thank you for hopping on the call today, and because I figured it'd be a great way to get a little hype going, because Adepticon it's this
The
small
hype
little
train.
show. Yep. It's the small little show. It needs all the help it can get, and so
Yeah,
I
but
thought
we're
it'd
going
be
big this
great.
year.
I want to talk about that. I'll be going over the tournaments that we've got set up, at least for Dead Zone and Firefight. Admittedly, I don't know if I looked at the Warpath packets yet. I should have done that
you
in
should probably
preparation
do
for
that.
this, I'm realizing. Yeah. So I'll pull that up as we talk, because that's how this often goes. So,
Like
but
I
yeah.
never
So
left.
Rick, how would you describe Adepticon to people that have never been, or are maybe going to the Milwaukee venue for the first time?
How would I describe Adepticon to somebody that's never been?
Tough question, right? Right off the bat. Welcome back.
Yeah. Christmas when the Furbies came out.
So,
Because
like,
there weren't a lot of fights that year, but it was organized chaos. No, Adepticon is one of my favorite shows. And partly because there's so many different games being played, and there's not any hatred at all between this group of players and that group of players, because they're playing different games. In fact, there's a lot of people that are like, "Oh, that looks sweet," like constantly doing that. And people just love miniatures that go. And that's what we do.
Yeah, it's a huge event. Used to previously be run out of Schaumburg, Illinois. If you are unfamiliar with this particular scene, and so now it is based out of Milwaukee, and at the Baird Center, I believe is the name of the place.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so Mantic has been doing Adepticon for
years
before you and I had entered the scene. So the Mantic's presence there has always been kind of a hallmark, especially for them being more UK based. In some cases, it was the first taste of some of the newest releases you could get stateside. So, are there any fun goodies like that that people will see at Adepticon?
There's lots of goodies, and there's some pretty amazing deals that we're coming up with for the show. Um, there will be a couple things coming from the UK that I can't talk about yet,
Ah.
but they will be at Adepticon. Um, as you know, because we've already been chatting about it and seeing memes, I've been all week unloading product for Adepticon.
You
There's a
have
lot.
there's a lot of boxes.
Yep, we're going all out. I mean, I was given some grief about my blog post on the website because I didn't mention Epic Warpath. I just want you and your listeners, one specifically, Derek. I have a ton of Epic Warpath that's going to be there.
Nice. And yeah, that's been one that I haven't seen locally yet, but I've been meaning to pick up probably a two-player starter. I am sadly at that point where I'm having to be very picky about what games I add to my collection, just due to space restrictions.
It's funny how that works.
But yeah, the Epic Warpath is definitely one that I've had my eye on, and not only just for the game, but like Mantic's approach in releasing it, especially in terms of the STL side of things, which I'm sure I'll talk a little bit more about later. But yeah, so other than that, like what is your typical day at Adepticon look like, Rick?
Some would say it looks like a chicken running around with his head cut off. Everywhere from talking to other stores that go to Adepticon, talking to players, talking to some social media people, obviously hanging out at the booth and helping with demos and talking to customers and handing them big boxes, going over and overseeing what the tournaments are doing, back and forth, a lot of back and forth. Yeah, it's making sure everybody's taken care of.
Very, very nice. So, other things that are obviously going on at Adepticon, there's a gigantic vendor hall for one thing, and then there's obviously a bunch of tournaments. So if this is you tuning into Deadzone the podcast for the very first time, there's a lot of tournaments that go on at this place.
There are so many tournaments.
And let's get into a few of them.
So, are you gonna get into those? Because just us alone, we have a ton of tournaments going on.
I think I mentioned it in the last episode. Like the Mantic, faithful they're just like a bit. I don't know if I'd say spoiled for choice as much as like there are so many options now that you really kind of have to pick what kind of game you're wanting to play that weekend. No longer are the days where you could do the Iron Man challenge.
Do the Tyler thing and play every single tournament and event in one weekend. Yeah, that's not a thing anymore.
No, it is become impossible because tournaments now, sadly, but necessary, overlap one another. And we have a lot, like you said. So to get into it right away, I'm going to highlight Epic Warpath. The U.S. Adepticon tournament is on March 26th, which is I'm just going to make sure I've got the weekday right, is the Wednesday of Adepticon from 8:30 to 5:30. And I'm looking at it.
One spot left.
Yep. I was just about to add that. Yep, there's one spot left. So you, intrepid listener who has a bunch of Warpath minis available. There's 3 games, 1,500-point tournaments on 4x4 tables. All lists can be submitted via the Mantic Companion app. And unfortunately, I'm not seeing a link to a packet in the Adepticon thing. Oh, that's right, because they hide them.
Yeah.
They hide them in the rules section.
Yeah, rules section.
Which was not a smart thing because I navigated away, and so it cleared all my filters. I will say one thing about Adepticon. I really wish someone would update their website to be a little bit more user friendly. It has been this way for a number of years now.
A number of years. Speaking of that, this is your welcome back tour to Adepticon.
Yeah, I actually missed the, can't say inaugural move to Milwaukee, since I believe it had its start there. But yes, I will be able to make it to Adepticon this year, which is pretty exciting.
Yes,
And I'm really stoked to see the new venue. I've heard a lot of really great things about the layout, and yeah, it's just going to be a blast to be back. I'm running a couple of events, and I'll cover those here shortly. But I did manage to find. So for those at home listening, if you want to get the rules for any tournaments that you're looking for, it's actually off the main Adepticon website, up in the info section, where you maybe have gone to event schedule previously. There is one on the far right column, which is rules and resources, and that is actually where all packets are uploaded. Yeah, so that's where we're at. The typical rules. So round one here. Do they have? I don't know if he has the names of the scenarios.
I don't know if he does or not.
Yeah, just round one. Deployments straight across the field from another. There's one static objective in the exact center. Each player takes one or more static and one or more dynamic objective markers and alternate placing them around the kind of center line there, at least 9 inches from another objective. And so it's just a VP scoring one based on the size of unit that's capturing the objectives. So that's a fun way to start the Epic Warpath tourney.
Yep.
The next one, round two, is one of the corner deployments. So this would be using the corners of the map to in a big triangle. And there are 5 dynamic objectives that are placed. The first 4 are placed are inactive. The 5th one is automatically activated. Objectives placed by players must be placed outside any deployment zones. And and then each player currently they claim at the end of the round, and static and active dynamic objectives score 3 VPs each in addition, and add up as the unit strength of each side. So it sounds like it's actually a pretty similar scoring thing, just a different layout for starting off, which is a fun way to shake things up. And then round 3 is back to lawn table edges, even though it's 4x4, with 3 dynamic objectives and 1 static marker in each. Now place 1 static objective marker in each player's deployment zones, and so from there you've got some deep striking to do to capture that static objective from your opponent. And it looks like those victory points tick up as it gets later into the game, with scores going up after round 4. And yeah, so fun little game to wrap up the Warpath scenarios. Admittedly, I haven't. I think I have the PDF. I picked up a digital copy of the rule book and just kind of briefly perused it, but I admittedly didn't dive into the scenarios, which are always kind of where the fun really happens, right? So
Yes,
I'll
it
need to do
is.
that. All right. So with that,
Deadzone.
next up, well, Deadzone's actually a little bit later this year.
Oh, you're going through the whole week by day. Okay.
Yeah, I'll go day by day.
Okay.
Only covering kind of the big U.S. National
Yep.
tournaments, but there are a number of big game events. Epic Warpath in particular has quite a few throughout
That are pretty much sold
the
out.
Thursday. Yeah, capacity full. Yep, they are sold out. Sorry, guys. If you're hearing this now, you missed out. But the Firefight Annihilation Tournament is March 27th, so that's Thursday. Or is that Friday? I got my days right.
Thursday.
That one's Friday.
Friday.
Yeah. Because I was like, I misspoke the first time. So the Warpath tournament is Thursday. I think I might have said Wednesday. The 26th is a Thursday, and then the 27th is Friday. So the Firefight Annihilation, if those of you are unfamiliar, haven't checked it out, it is a specific mode of Firefight, which is mechanized combat based. So all the giant
Vehicle
stocky
mayhem.
robots, vehicles, tanks, all sorts of crazy goodies are kind of front and center. They drive a lot of the list building rather than the other way around.
You have to, in order for you to bring troops, you have to have 2 vehicles to get 1 unit of troops.
And I believe the troops have to be embarked in one of those vehicles.
Correct. They have to be in one of the vehicles. So you can't just arbitrarily take whatever unit you want because it's big and nasty, but Teratons don't fit in a mule. I mean, technically, actually, they do, but
You just wanted to bring a whole fleet of mules filled with Teratons, didn't you?
I love Annihilation. It's my favorite way to play Firefight.
Yeah, it's a fun time. I've only had a couple of games, but they've been a blast. So this is a 1,000-point tournament using the Manta Companions Annihilation list building, which is technically in beta, I believe, at this time, but looks to be pretty successful. If you have any issues, please reach out, and I will make sure things get sorted. But yeah, this is a fun style of tournament, a little bit more laid back than cutthroat and brutal.
Yeah.
But it's a really fun time, and yeah, so it would be 3 games. It starts at 9 a.m. and goes till 6 on that Friday.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
I have these scenarios for that. So what I have here are my regular rules. I have scenario 1, which is Recon in Force, which is one that's done with bluff tokens. And I've got it where it's off page 178 in the command protocols book. Basically, you have bluff tokens but before any unit is deployed, players must place the bluff tokens starting with the player at the initiative. And so bluff tokens, how they kind of work is that there's 2 that have 0, 2 that have 1, and 1 that has 2. And you have to place them on the board, kind of face down, and it's then revealed which ones are which once you've kind of captured them. And so that then reveals kind of the victory points you score from controlling them. So it's honestly, it's kind of the more wordy of the objectives. So I always find it's for any other Intrepid tournament runners out there, it actually works out probably best to start with the most complex events first when people are still very fresh and kind of make your way down into these simpler straight up fights.
Oh yeah.
Number 2 is Armored Engagement. This is off of page 177 in Command Protocols. This is where you start off with 50% of your battle group deployed at the start, with the rest held in reserve and will be arriving available in round 2 onwards, following the normal rules for bringing in reserves. It's otherwise just kind of a straight up fight, and so it's the points at the end is based on how much damage you did to your opponent. With it's compare the point values of all units destroyed during the game on each side. And I think I may have misspoke. I think I said that this was a 3-round event. It actually have 4 built in here, so and I believe we should have time to run all 4 of them, cool. Assuming that we're up for it. Some of these days get a little long, but I was able to bake in some break times. Smart. All right.
Smart move.
Scenario 3, material damage. So this is off of page 177. And so anytime a mechanized unit is destroyed, leave the model or last model in the unit on the table with a marker to show it is a wreck. Each wreck then counts as an objective. At the end of the game, each player scores 1 VP for each wreck they claim from their force, and 2 for each wreck they claim from their opponents. All mechanized units can claim objectives in addition to those they're normally able to. And then, most VPs wins. So that one's kind of maybe the most different in a lot of ways, where it's like, okay, my tank has driven out there and then it got blowed up. It now becomes an objective.
Yeah. I think this is the mission that really highlights the play of Annihilation.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And there's some little changes in rules around that. There's I'm realizing I don't have the book in front of me. There's a little bit of extra flavor to damaging mechs and mechanized units in Annihilation, which kind of makes it more than just the regular shooting at them. All right. So brush up on those if you're playing in the Annihilation tournament. Scenario 4, Clash of Patrols. So this one is on page 176 of Command Protocols. Each player will place 2 objective tokens on the board, starting with the player with the initiative, alternating. And objective tokens must be outside the deployment zone on your opponent's half of the board and at least 6 inches away from other objectives. So it's kind of just straight up objective base. You have to place it on your opponent's side of the field. And just a fun little slugfest with objectives.
Yes, indeed.
So that is the Annihilation tournament. That does still have some seats left. Though I know by the time this episode airs, I think pre-reg will have closed.
It closes
in 2 days.
But the nice thing is, even with it being closed down, when you're at the show, you're able to go to the desk, and if there are spots available in an event that you want to play in and you just didn't get a chance to schedule it, you can do that still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is really nice to still be able to day of kind of sign up, especially if you find yourself there. It's like, well, I'm here and I have nothing to do for a couple hours. I'm going to pick up a tournament.
I mean, it seems like one year when we were both doing Deadzone, I swear we had 5 sign up that day.
Yeah. I've had a couple wild ones where it's like I've had a dropout and then another person walked in to pick up and play, and I'm like, well, you just became my rainer. So
yes, indeed.
It is a good time. All right. So moving on from that, we've got March 28th, which is Saturday, and we've got the Firefight US Nationals. This one is from 8:30 to 6:30. And as of recording this, there are 13 spots left, so there's a little bit of room if you want to get into the kind of standard firefight games. This is a 1,500 point tournament, and I have kind of spelled out some of the rules around bluff tokens because we did use Scenario 1 Gunsmoke and Holograms, which is one of the new ones out of the companion app. And so this one, before any units are placed, the players must use the bluff tokens, same as I kind of described before, where there's ones that have 0, 1, and 2. And that you have to place them fully or on your opponent's half of the board, and you can select which bluff token you're placing down, and then in the end phase after nerve tests, each player must flip over one bluff counter anywhere on the board, rolling off to decide who flips first, and bluff counters are then claimed in the same manner as objectives. All right. And and then that's based on victory points, based on your bluff tokens, and so that's another one of those new ones that I really liked out of the companion update, and so I'm like, that's definitely going into the tournament.
That's a good way to do it.
So another one in the next game is Bodyguard. So this one is where each player will have 2 objective markers to serve as VIPs, in which case they count as HVA drones. Start with the player with the initiative, alternate attaching the 1 VIP marker to a unit, and they can only carry 1 at a time. And so as the game goes on, at the end of each round, each player scores 1 VP for each VIP attached to one of their units within 12 inches of the center line of half the table. 3 VPs for each VIP attached to one of their units in their opponent's half of the board. So if a player has control of an opponent's VIP either through winning an assault action against the holding unit or moving their leader into base contact with opponent's VIP, which is currently not being held, is the VIP marker is removed from the table and the player scores 10 VPs. Player with the most at the end of the game is the winner. So it does behoove you to take out your opponent's VIPs. They can be picked back up if you wipe out a unit, but the goal here is to take out your opponents, and really, you can score some really big points in that one. And next up, I guess, yeah, you can score. Obviously, there's 2, so like the max you could probably get is 20. But 20 is nothing to sniff at when you're otherwise scoring 3 or 1. So you could be like scoring those regular points every round, but then your opponent could wipe out one of your guys and sweep the lead. So be on the lookout for that one. Bodyguard, I think, is a lot of fun. Next up, Scenario 3, we got Manpower. So after deployment, but before players deploy any models, objective markers are set in the exact center of the table, and then the players alternate placing 2 other objective markers each on the battlefield. So kind of a standard objective-based one. And then rounding out Scenario 4 with Control, which is more of a separating the board into different sectors, 6 total, and determining based on unit strength at the end of each round, and that's how you can accumulate some points. Yeah. So I think this is going to be a blast. I believe this is the first time we bumped it up to 1,500 points. Yeah. Previously, I think we'd done 1,250, which I think is actually a pretty good sweet spot. But one of the one of the things that's kind of been a pretty regular point of feedback for the firefight tournaments I've ran and it's kind of seen around is really kind of making sure it has enough time for the players to really have their full games. And at those smaller point values, like some factions struggle a little bit more to have a balance and a counter to other opponents. So we thought bumping it up to 1,500 was a pretty good step. We'll see how it goes following this one. But a big part of this is, this getting bumped up to a full 4-round tournament. In previous years, we've kind of tried to sandwich it in and around some other events, but it's kind of finally getting to stretch its legs and really be the big tournament that this can be. Like the Michigan GT, we had like over 12 players. Do we have 14?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, you had 14.
And so like it's a really popular game, and you should sign up for it. I say that as you won't be able to sign up for it online anymore.
You should have signed up for it.
You should have signed up for it. And if you didn't, but you have all your stuff ready to go,
find the TO, talk to the front
track
desk.
me down. And at the event, we'll see you Saturday.
Make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Now, sadly, I'm going to gloss over the Halo events because there's other podcasts that talk about that.
Yes.
And
but understand that the Halo stuff is all pretty much full too.
Halo is chock full. You have a huge number of events, and including some nice casual ones that are just kind of fun challenges. And then you have several big tournaments.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool. And so the next one, which is I'm sure the piece de resistance is everyone's here to hear about, is the Deadzone US Nationals, which is on March 29th, which is the Sunday at the end of Adepticon. It is from 8:30 to 4:30. And
at 8:30 in the morning, that's crazy.
I know. But it had to be done, as they say. So another thing with Deadzone, I know I've talked about in the past. I do think the sweet spot is 175 for points. But with this being the U.S. Nationals and kind of trying to align a bit more to the standard set, kind of more internationally, we do have this as a 200-point game. With the third edition core rules plus the updates from the companion app, and we're gonna have four awesome games of Deadzone. And I finally put on here how I calculate kill points. That was something that I always neglected to actually include anywhere in my packets. And I have them calculated by the total point value of models you've defeated at the end of the game.
Hey, look.
All right. So some changes from last time is that we do have the new recon table in effect. For those that maybe haven't seen it in the companion app, there is now, after winning the recon, it's changed up a little bit where the winner will roll 1d8 and has a number of options available. We are not using the faction-specific ones for this. And then the loser also rolls a d8 and has some opportunity as well based on that result. So honestly, I kind of like that change. I think that one, if I recall correctly, kind of evolved out of some of the Halo updates, where you kind of have a positive if you are very successful, and then even the player that maybe the dice weren't in your favor on your recon roll, there's still a little something for you to keep going. But so the first scenario, I should say, is hack the mainframe. This is another one that I pulled from the companion app. It's one of the new ones. And I think this one's actually a whole lot of fun. We played it at the Michigan GT. And basically there are terminals set up on the board that if you interact with them, you basically roll a d8 and it spits out a victory point, like an intel, to you. On a 7 or 8, it's also booby trapped and it can explode on you. But yeah, so this one is a lot of fun, and I will say, with it being an intel cube, take that into account when you do some list building, because there are specific units that really benefit from picking up the intel item, and that does count towards it. But otherwise, it's kind of a lawn L for the deployment. It goes pretty far from one corner to the lawn edge. So if you haven't checked out that scenario yet, do so at your earliest convenience, but definitely soon, because it's a lot of fun. All right. Scenario 2 is Scour. And I say that incredulously because I don't think we've seen Scour at Adepticon since second edition.
Yeah.
What would that be? Circa 2018 or something like that.
17, 18, yeah.
So it's been a minute since Scour's been in the list, but I have looked at this scenario as one that's it's often overlooked. A lot of people kind of dismiss it because it's the item pick up and run it back to your base mission.
Yep.
Which, and I will say, some factions will probably excel at that more so than others.
I'm saying there's some that will struggle,
and there are some that might struggle. But I do have some slight tweaks to it. And it's probably worth mentioning now is we will have items on the board, and we have 8 items as a preset stack that are used for all scenarios. They're actually labeled on the maps where they need to be set. And in this case, normally in Scour, you bump up the number of items you have available. We're still going to use the same 8 that we've got for our tournament. But with that caveat, I do have an adjustment here where you start gaining VPs for killing models after round 2. So you have at least 2 rounds where the only way you're scoring is by picking up items. But yeah, it's one that I think has been out of the tournament scene for maybe too long since it's the updates have happened to it. In its original inception, yeah, I can kind of see it was a bit rough to play. But I think it's really improved with the rules around it to make it a much more engaging scenario and a little bit more balanced than it might have been previously. Scenario 3, Divide and Conquer. This one's kind of a classic that we often see, which is kind of the more kind of middle of the board is where your units are deploying, but it's the edges that have the objectives. And so it's one that usually turns into a pretty big slugfest down the middle. And yeah, always a great option. And then for our last scenario 4, we have Invade. So this one, you have the full board edge to deploy from. And then on either opponent's side, you have a 4-point victory point section if you're able to capture your opponents. So you don't score on the one that's near your board edge, but you score on the one that's near your opponents. And so otherwise, kind of classic straight up victory points for a lot of these. And they translate into tournament points. Now I've gone away from some other stuff that we used to do kind of more for our own tournaments, which had kind of bonus tournament points you could score. It was something I always thought added a little extra flavor to events. But in as we moved into like the companion app, we are using that much more consistently now with our events. It is a little trickier to incorporate that kind of extra scoring. And so we are instead going for the 5-2-1 style of tournament point scoring for the events going forward. And we're going to be recording that in the companion app so that the results can be shared more easily. Yeah.
Good
So
stuff, good stuff, good stuff.
That about covers our tournaments anyway.
Yep.
I'll be running 3 of them. It's nice to have them split up across different days rather than trying to fit 2 into 1.
Yep. Well, and that was a big part of how we did the schedule this year. When, like you said at the beginning, one of the biggest struggles when you have this many amazing games, who do you put up against who? Because you're not going to be able to play in this game and this game at the same time. But that's also why you have things like Firefight Annihilation. It's a perfect example of, hey, I know you might not be able to make it to the tournament, but here's an alternate way to play.
Yeah. The alternate game modes for alternate events for these different games, especially when, like you're saying, they're pitted up against, like, there's a lot of Kings of War events going on. There's Armada. There's the Champions. I think there's even is there an ambush tournament still? Or at least there's team tournaments.
Yeah, there's Champions. There's the big games, of course. There's Armada. There is Champions Learn to Play events, and then Armada Learn to Play events. And then, of course, Adept Clash. And a pairing event for Kings of War. Yeah.
It's so
there's a lot.
There's a lot going on. And so, but there's a great set of guys that are running these tournaments. I know a lot of them personally and have been running some of these things for a couple of years. Really great guys. So, give them all your best and tell them Deadzone the podcast says hi. I'll also be there to say hi in person, but
you will.
It helps if other people say it too, because it makes us feel good.
So one of the things I'm gonna miss about you coming to Adepticon this year is one, I'm not riding with you. It's always one of my favorite memories of Adepticon is the two of us driving there and listening to my GPS make some really weird noises.
Yeah.
Or the energy driving back.
Yes.
Like, you don't even think that you're actually traveling that far because your energy is so up there. I remember that Kings of War 2nd edition. When we got our books at Adepticon.
Yeah.
We kind of flipped through them as we were driving home.
And then the one year where we were just chock full of like elf starter sets.
Elves and elves. Amusingly enough, I still have one of those boxes in my game area, and I refuse to make it go away. Like, it's just there.
As you should. But no, the Adepticon is it's not only just like a fun weekend with a lot of events, a lot of games, a lot of great memories and stuff, but like you're saying, like, you walk away from that, I always feel like incredibly inspired to do more.
Revitalized. You just spent months painting up that Kings of War or Epic or multiple Epic armies, and you're kind of feeling kind of like, oh, do I have to paint another mile?
Yeah.
And then you go to Adepticon and see everything, and all you want to do is get home and paint.
Or play with your new toys.
Play with new toys, yeah.
So if you don't, I do kind of recommend, like, if you bring like a little set of clippers and super glue,
You never
not
know.
not only for repairs.
Definitely for
that,
repairs though.
that's why I recommend stick 'em. Bring some sticky tack with you too. But yeah, no, it's Adepticon is always a blast, and yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, sometimes leading up to these events gets to be a bit of a slog. I know I just burned through a whole new Deadzone table in like a month and a half, um, and which was a fun project that I've been meaning to do, but it was like, all right, like, rubber meets the road. Like, I need to have this ready.
Let's
Um,
do this.
and I hope that I wind up having enough uh, for it, because I know um, there had been talks about bumping the player slots up a little bit. I don't know if they're ultimately going to do that, because Deadzone sold out like
Yep.
the first day, which blew me away for one thing. There was always kind of that feeling that Sunday was kind of the dead spot, you might say. It's like, who's running events on Sunday? Um, Turns out me, and it was a popular time to get in
Yep.
some Deadzone. It's honestly, I think I mentioned in the last one, I'm like, actually, that is a perfect fit for Deadzone, um, for not only for the players, but also like it's stacked up against all the other events
Yeah.
that we have going on. So, because then we're just up against Kings of War Day 2. So yeah,
Just.
yes. But yeah, so I think Adepticon's gonna be pretty crazy, and I hope to see as many of you there. If you bump into me, I will say hi. I'll probably be wearing either this my Deadzone hat or my Mantic hat. Um, and then as a quick note, Rick is actually hearing this for the first time. Uh, we are changing up the for one of the awards for Deadzone is the tried and true uh, sportsman award.
Yep.
Uh, this year, I'm kind of adjusting it a little bit. Is that I have made a special trophy in memorial for Rob Harper, who,
Very
again, one of
nice. Very
the
nice.
founders of the show,
Awesome.
and great member of the community. Uh, a staple of the Adepticon scene. It
Yep.
was always great seeing him there. So I've got a little trophy printed off for him, and that is going to be going to whoever wins the best sportsman award. And it is sized and scaled to fit on a Deadzone board as a piece of terrain.
Cool.
So yeah, I thought that would be a fun way to honor him and all the work that he did for the community. And yeah, and I'll send Rick a picture of it at a time. And
Cool.
yeah, so other than that, I know we've been going for a while already and covered a lot of ground. But might as well move into the hobby table section of the show. So the hobby table section of the show, if I can speak correctly, is brought to you by Corvus Games Terrain. Tried and true sponsor of the show. Has made just fantastic terrain. The aforementioned set that I'll be Deadzone board that I'll be talking about shortly here was completely printed off of the Dvergrhold set. Sorry, Steve. I'm never gonna pronounce that right. Um, and but it's the space dwarf themed set, and I think it turned out pretty nice. But you can get a little discount by using DZ Podcast 15. That's 15 at the checkout to get a little discount on picking up some STLs from his store. There's some great classic sets that he's made that have been a staple of Adepticon actually for a number of years now, as well as some new ones that he's been have come out that are a bit more kind of in that Halo themed space. So definitely check those out. But yeah, so I know I've been talking at a lot of length, so I'm going to give some air to Rick here. Has there been anything on your hobby table as you prepare for Adepticon?
Unfortunately, not much.
Hmm.
I did finally get back to playing some games, and I'm back to playing over at Evolution Games. We're starting to build up that community again. Um,
Excellent.
so the big thing that's on my hobby table is actually kind of an homage to my dad, who recently passed away. I am doing the Northern Alliance Champion Box.
Yeah.
And so, first off, the leader of the Northern Alliance, I love that character.
Yeah.
But he 100% has my dad's beard. My dad was very much the Santa Claus, ZZ Top, typical dwarf beard. Like, that was my dad. And he's got a bird on his shoulder, a mechanical bird, but I'm going to try and smooth that out. Because my dad's favorite animal was a bald eagle. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do the raven like an eagle.
Gotcha.
This is a little thing for my dad, and of course, obviously, I mean, I grew up in Alaska, so Northern Alliance works for all of the above. So that's really all I've been working on. Most of my stuff has obviously been work in setting up stuff for Adepticon.
Yeah, it definitely takes a lot. How many? You mentioned at the beginning of the show. How many boxes would you say you have? There's like what, at least 3 pallets worth of things that were taller than you, and
yeah,
and Rick's pretty
3
tall.
pallets.
Everybody.
No, I'm short. 3 pallets, 3.5 pallets, and I still have more coming.
Like we said, Adepticon's a big event.
Yes, it is.
Well, I'm really excited to see the stuff that Mantix just actually announced a bunch of sales and stuff on new goodies, and it's like it's such a good time to be into Mantix stuff.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. You're like, do tell. But no, that's wonderful, and you know, on top of that, with the Northern Alliance basically being the Rebs of Kings of War, I approve wholeheartedly.
Oh, I'm sure you
But
do.
no, that's wonderful. Yeah, as far as my own hobbying goes, the aforementioned Deadzone board that I made of that Space Dwarf set really came together well. I've kind of finally got my printer tuned in a little bit better, so it's printing things nice and smooth. And I went with like a flat black and then like an angled dark red as like a little zenithal look, and then just a bunch of like gray dry brush
Cool.
on stuff. It falls into the camp of like, didn't turn out quite the way I wanted. Like I wanted to pop a little bit more than it does, but at the same time there was a, you know, perfect the enemy of the good, this needs to get done. And my window for hobbying is always kind of seemingly smaller than it was previously.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yep. So especially during sleep regressions.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was, you know, big hobby thing number one. The other hobby thing that I've been tinkering with is I mentioned earlier with Epic Warpath is STL files. So on my mini factory, they had a Epic Warpath Frontiers campaign that kicked off, and as part of that, you got STLs for 4 core factions, with a lot of there's just a lot of great stuff in that. One of which, though, is the Strider. The small, teeny tiny Strider. So I've been tinkering, and I found that if you scale that up to 300%, it is the size of a regular Deadzone Strider. Now, I say that given literally the Mantic Vault has just made available the full,
Strider.
the actual Strider, with all the bits and bobs and a couple other neat designs to go with it,
Updates,
which
yeah.
I'm intrigued to pick up as pretty much the day after this episode airs. And but kind of with that, you know, I now have ambitions on doing a little bit more STL tinkering. One really cool thing that they're doing on the Vault Fanatics page is they are in starting up a new kind of community section where members of the community that maybe do this kind of tinkering with STLs, especially for official Mantic models, can make their STLs available for the things that they tinkered with, like whether that's adding a flag to a dude or adjusting a pose so that the gun's pointing in the air or something like that. It's a new thing. It's a little Wild West. I'm sure there's probably some rules that'll evolve into place as it continues to grow. But I think this is a really cool thing that Mantic is embracing, is community driven content based off of their STLs. I don't know if I can say that any other company has done that. So kudos, Mantic. This is a pretty neat idea. And so with that, I have ambitions to make a bunch of Striders. But modify one that has like some kind of antenna. I'm sifting through all the Mantic Vault STLs I've got to see if I've got a good piece that I can use for that. But I want to make a command Strider.
Command Strider.
Yes, not just because of Firefight Annihilation, but for that reason too. And just like a fun way to kit out the Strider in a neat way. Folks that may have seen some pictures that are probably a little dated now, I've done Gundam Striders in the past, two of which were full Mantic models.
Yep.
As crazy as they look. So now the opportunity to do that with 3D printing, it's kind of a fun time.
Yes, it is.
The other one I'm still playing with is the Drakon class light cruiser. I'm of the opinion.
Are you gonna do it full size?
I'm of the opinion that 300% is not an accurate scaling of it. Now that I've test printed some of it, I'm like, this doesn't quite match up. Because Warpath is a little bit of imagination. You gotta kind of scale things so they fit on a board into the same camp. The Dragon class is supposed to be a pretty big troop carrier. You need to be able to deploy a Strider out the back of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
or an army of Striders.
Yeah. So I'm still trying to find that sweet spot of percentages. It's somewhere in the 300, kind of between 50 and 25, just barely fitting on my printer kind of scale for just the hull.
Yep.
But the thing I'm using as a reference point now is the quad burst lasers, and kind of scaling them to match what is kind of current scale of a burst laser that's on like the accuser interceptor. So that's a fun project. More to follow on that. Stay tuned to this channel if you want to see one of those things printed, probably as close to full scale as that's likely going to be. It's I'm trying to think if it would fit in a Deadzone board, or if it should theoretically be larger than one. And I feel like it
think it
should
would be
larger be
bigger.
one.
Yeah, I think it would be larger.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I'll be able to print that.
Maybe you print it and chop it in half and make that a board.
Yeah.
The inside of a Dracon Rider.
There you go. I just have to hollow it out.
And then
Stranger
do all
things
the
have happened
dimes.
on this show.
And then do all the intricate pieces and pull some of the scenery stuff from our STLs and build the inside of it after you've hollowed it out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Put a grid in there.
Yep. It's got to have a grid.
And then put latches on the outside of it so you can put the top on it and close it with your forces in there.
And then it's a carrying case.
Yeah, exactly.
Put magnets in the bottom of the This is the kind of stuff you come to Deadzone the podcast to talk about.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, so I'm going to continue exploring all the crazy possibilities of that space. So stay tuned. I'm sure I'm going to come up with all sorts of other weirdness that could be a whole lot of fun.
Nice.
But yeah, and I'm trying to think. So one thing we're probably just gonna be able to dedicate a little bit of time to is Dreadball All Stars. Is also coming to Kickstarter near you
Very soon.
very soon. I am pretty excited. We've been seeing some sneak peeks of the minis, the teams that are going to be available. And is there? We obviously have heard the some of the kind of projected rules changes of certain things. Obviously, I think the community is kind of waited with bated breath to see how this turns out. And I think people are trying to figure out where their expectations should be.
Sure.
As far as this venture. Dreadball is an incredibly fun. Like, it's still a very fun game to play for second edition, with the Magnetar Circuit being kind of the last update for it. And the game's kind of been on hiatus for quite a while. So the bringing it back with this new kind of fresh take, especially with the creator of Blood Bowl kind of helming the project. Mantic has been kind of getting in touch with some of these heavy hitters of some pretty well-known and classic games. So yes. I don't know if there's any more you can share at this time prior to the Kickstarter launch. He's shaking his head, but I think he wants to say something.
All I can say is I played it this summer,
and
it's fun.
Yeah,
it has the Dreadball feel to it.
Gotcha. That's kind of been my
pace.
Okay. That's been kind of my take, kind of from the outside. I know I think it's shaping up. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to play. And so I hope the community kind of rallies around that. And I think, if this is a successful venture, and we probably get some new rules and new concepts, a fresh take on Dreadball. Maybe we can see that third edition. Hopefully in the future, where the full game kind of comes back with all, because All Stars is kind of some elite players is kind of the concept. It's these it's the Pro Bowl, if you will, of Dreadball, if that makes any sense to people that don't watch American football. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I can't wait for the Kickstarter to kick off. But Mantic has gotten very, very good at handling their Kickstarter projects. I think they've really gone through a lot of trials and tribulations with it in the past, where it has become a very mature system of getting a game out and available. Not just games, actually, because they did the terrain crate stuff through that as well. Like making a product that is then able to hit the market in a really, really great way. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked for Dreadball All Stars, and I will probably sign up for it day one, assuming that I still have a budget left over after Adepticon.
Well, just remember, always when it comes to Kickstarters, you can just do the $1, and then get in on
the pledge
the
manager
back end of it in the pledge manager, and then blow your budget again.
Yep. All right, but with that, I wanted to make sure I at least covered that time. I actually didn't have an agenda for today because I was running a little behind.
Sounds about right.
But I think that should cover it. So Rick, thank you so much for hopping on the show and talking all things Adepticon and plenty of other goodies. I'm super excited to see you at Adepticon, and I hope we see all you other listeners out there. I'm pointing at the camera, which doesn't do anything for the audio.
It does for the camera.
Yeah. But with that, have a good night, everybody.
See you next time.
Yeah. It's like that.
It is. Where I'd love to stay and chat afterwards. I've got to go take care of a dog.
Yes, I completely understand. But it was great catching up, Rick.
Yes. And we'll see each other in a few weeks.
Yeah. Not too long.
Nope.